Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, it is going to be a volatile week. We're going to hear from the Fed, Jerome Powell, and they're going to advise us if they are indeed cutting rates. Now, many folks are expecting that the Fed is going to cut and it's going to be 25 basis points. So that's going to come up on Wednesday. We're going to hear around 2 p.m. You guys know the usual schedule. But of course, any week there's an FOMC meeting or hearing, there's a lot of volatility. You can't really judge the market, right? And I think whales play with people's emotions and they pump and then they fake us out and they dump on us and much more. So expect volatility. We're really going to have to wait for the dust to settle to see what's going to happen. But, CME Group, Fed futures, everybody's expecting the 25 basis points cut. It's currently at 96.4%. Now, the Fed could surprise us by doing 50 basis points. And I think that could be very bullish. But as I've said recently, it could be a double-edged sword where people see that level of a cut being, bad in a sense that the economy is not in a great place, which I don't think it is. I think we're in a light recession and the Fed is panicking, right? So let's see what happens. Nevertheless, the macro thesis of the bull market still in play. Global liquidity continues to be one of the key indicators. And that, as I've been saying, guys, is on the rise again. It has recovered, but it hasn't broken the all-time high yet. I think it will. So we have to be patient here. What we are seeing is that altcoins are on the move. Even the stock market's on the move. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and much more continue to make new highs. So again, the macro bull market's still intact. And gold, we talked about gold in yesterday's podcast, and that it has been on a tear, but I think it's topping out. It's in the overbought zone. So we should expect to see a correction and the rotation of liquidity. If you look at total 3 for the altcoins, that has been on the rise as well. We've been seeing a lot of altcoins move, but we're seeing a bit of a correction right now. And, over the past week or so, if you look at the top 10 and 15, Solana, Dogecoin, and many other altcoins have been ripping. I think even AVAX here. So you're seeing life, but we're not seeing parabolic moves yet, right? Clearly. And there's not this massive bullish sentiment out there. Don't get me wrong. People are bullish, but it's not euphoria bullish, right? So those things come when you get into the final stages of the bull market. Now, with this situation of global liquidity starting to recover, as I've been telling you guys, I think this bull market could potentially extend into 2026 and that Q4 could be a local top. No guarantees. We're going to have to wait and see. But I think Arthur Hayes, the BitMEX co-founder, and he definitely understands the macro. He was on an interview recently and he said the same thing. He thinks money printing is going to extend the crypto cycle into 2026. So once again, no guarantees. There's nothing. No one has a crystal ball. Not me, not Arthur, not anyone else. But we're going to look at the data at least and not our emotions and make our decisions based on that. And obviously we have to wait for certain data to keep updating like global liquidity. But all the other signals that we usually track, they're not flashing. So again, we're not just using one metric, we're using multiple. And the major one, I think, is global liquidity. So folks, hang in there. At the beginning of September, I said, look, first half of September, I think we are going to be not in a good place. You're going to see corrections and much more. Second half, things start to bottom out and we start climbing. And in October, we start hitting new highs. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking based on what we're seeing in the market. So patience is the key, my friends. Now, investment giant Capital Group's $1 billion bet on Bitcoin treasuries balloons to $6 billion. So we continue to see lots of capital flowing into the crypto market in different ways. Digital asset treasury companies, ETFs, directly into crypto projects, into IPOs, into crypto infrastructure companies, and much more. So Capital Group, a 94-year-old mutual fund powerhouse known for its conservative investment approach, has grown a $1 billion position in Bitcoin-related stocks into more than $6 billion. Mark Casey, a portfolio manager with 25 years at Capital Group, led the firm's move into Bitcoin. Casey, who describes his investment style as shaped by Benjamin Graham and Warren Buffett, has become an advocate for Bitcoin, according to a Sunday report by the Wall Street Journal. Here's a quote. "I just think it's so interesting," Casey said during a podcast interview with venture firm Andreessen Horowitz. He called Bitcoin one of the coolest things that was or that has ever been created by people. Over the past 4 years, Capital Group has built its exposure primarily through investments in so-called Bitcoin treasury companies, public firms that accumulate and hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets. So the portfolio is pretty diversified. So it includes MicroStrategy, of course. You got Marathon Holdings, Metaplanet, that's the MicroStrategy of Japan. So pretty interesting that these old school legacy firms are getting involved in crypto. And many of them are starting with Bitcoin, as we've seen many times, and then they expand to altcoins. It's the same pattern we continue to see. So all of this is very bullish. I think many of these firms recognize crypto is the next big trade and that this technology is here to stay. Plus, you have crypto legislation getting passed, so they have the clarity. And this is why I know I say this a lot. I'm not just banking on this bull market cycle, but the future cycles as well, 2028 to 2030. And, I'll be here in the bear market and I'll be telling you guys, hey, don't panic. Get ready to buy the blood in the streets, right? Right now, I'm telling you, get ready to sell because we're nearing the top of the market where dumb money comes in, it gets euphoric and much more. And then when we start going into the bear market and correcting, I'm going to be backing that truck up to buy the dips. Same recipe, same strategy I've used to make money in the past. And I will continue to squeeze as much juice out of this orange, if you want to call it that, in this asset class because it's still very young. This is the opportunity of the lifetime. So very bullish stuff here. Now, folks, a great way to invest in the crypto market is by going through an IRA. iTrust Capital provides you with a self-directed IRA where you can invest in 80 plus crypto assets and you can trade 24/7 and there are no monthly fees and it's low cost. And best of all, there's a huge tax advantage because you're doing it through an IRA. So iTrust Capital offers this. They also offer what's called a premium custody account. And folks, this is one of the safest ways to custody your crypto assets. I believe it is the second safest to self-custody on a hardware wallet because they are using bank tier custody services. They use Fireblocks, Coinbase Custody, Fidelity, and much more. And that's what the big institutions use. So you can rest assured and sleep at night that your assets are safe because once again, it is using the top tier crypto custody services, which is being used by institutions. So I have an account with iTrust Capital. And folks, if you sign up using my link, you can get $100 funding bonus. So IRA, a great option. And if you already have a 401k or an IRA, you can roll it over to the IRA service that they have. And once again, the crypto custody service is a great option. And again, one of the safest options. So check out the link in the description to learn more. Now look at this news, folks. Pakistan's crypto regulator invites crypto firms to get licensed, serve 40 million local users. Folks, do you see what's happening? And it's not only happening in the United States, it is happening across the globe. Just this week, we talked about Kazakhstan, Hong Kong, and other jurisdictions. And look at Pakistan, of all places, right? You wouldn't think would be embracing crypto, but I think they all recognize where the puck is heading and that this technology is here to stay. And they're inviting crypto firms, hey, come set up a shop because no one wants to get left behind. This industry and technology is going to create a ton of jobs and a lot of tax revenue, which, the governments love, and they're going to take their cut, of course. So the Pakistan Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, formed in July, has called on global crypto firms to apply for local licenses to serve Pakistan's 40 million digital asset users. Only firms that have already been recognized by regulators in a major region, such as the US or EU, may apply for a license. Pakistan has been warming up to crypto and appointed Binance co-founder CZ Changpeng Zhao to an advisory post earlier this year. Very bullish, folks. The on-ramps being built across the globe, not only for retail, but institutional investors, the big money to come in. So this is why if you're here early and you've been buying the blood on the streets, dollar cost averaging, you are on the side of smart money. Now, obviously, you don't want to just watch your portfolio go up and then go down in bear market. You want to make sure you're taking profits if you are planning to. Some of you have said, hey, look, I don't care. I don't need the money. I'm going to wait till 2030. That's fine. Just understand the implications, right? That these markets are cyclical and your portfolio will go down. So if that's going to bother you and you know you need the money to maybe buy a house or pay off debt, whatever it is, right? You got to make sure that you identify the top zone, which is, what I've been calling it, and take your profits because no one can call the exact top, the day, the hour, that type of thing. But we're going to look for the top zone when things are getting euphoric and exit the market. But clearly, crypto's here to stay. It's being embraced by many governments and jurisdictions around the world. And as I mentioned, the on-ramps being built. Now, Ethereum Foundation sets end-to-end privacy roadmap with private rights, reads, and proving. So we know there's a lot of development happening on Ethereum, and obviously the Ethereum Foundation is leading that charge. And ETH is getting a lot of adoption from many big institutions like BlackRock and so forth. They often start with building on Ethereum, and it's the number one smart contract platform. It has the first mover advantage. It has the security. It's never had downtime. Those are facts. Whether you like Ethereum or you don't, you can't ignore those facts. So the Ethereum Foundation's Privacy and Scaling Explorations team rebranded to Privacy Stewards of Ethereum and released a roadmap outlining current progress toward building comprehensive end-to-end privacy on the blockchain. The roadmap is oriented around three focus areas: private rights, private reads, and private proving, with the goal of making private on-chain actions on Ethereum ubiquitous, cheap, and compliant. So folks, if you're going to have institutions building on your blockchain, you have to have some sort of privacy solution. We've seen a lot of folks develop ZK proof or zero knowledge proof. And I think that's a great technology. So it looks like Ethereum is trying to expand here. And if you're going to have banks and certain institutions using your blockchain, you can't have private data and information out there where anyone can view it on the blockchain, right? Some of it has to be secured. So we got to find that balance. If you want your transactions out there and it's not a big deal, that's fine. But if you need privacy, you got to have it. And look, Ethereum has a lot of layer twos and some who are privacy focused, but the base layer, the layer one, needs that built in natively. So very interesting move here by the folks at Ethereum. And by the way, guys, speaking of privacy, if you saw my interview with Yuval Ruz, who's the co-founder and CEO of Digital Asset, which is working on the Canton network, it is a institutional focused blockchain that has privacy built in natively. So make sure you check out that interview because they've gotten investments from Citadel Securities, Goldman Sachs, and recently, there was talks of big banks joining the Canton Foundation. So this is a blockchain to watch. And when they launch their token, I'll let you guys know if I plan to invest, but this is one to watch because huge names, huge institutions are behind it. So check out that interview. It was published 4 days ago. All right, moving ahead, Polymarket weighs financing at a $9 to $10 billion valuation, while Kalshi is close to raising at $5 billion valuation. So the prediction market competition and race is heating up here. Polymarket is obviously the more famous one, and they got a ton of attention in the election with them calling certain wins, especially around the presidency with Donald Trump and much more. But obviously, it's blockchain powered, and this is the future, folks. And you're seeing the financialization of so many things, and blockchain is enabling that and enabling the trust factor, the ability to trade 24/7, a truly global market. So look at the valuations these companies are coming in at. It's pretty crazy. I think a lot of people recognize this is the future. I've often said the markets, the economies, the governments will all be running on blockchain rails. Voting will be powered by blockchain eventually to eliminate fraud and all those things. Payments to and from the government will be powered by stable coins and much more. So this is amazing. These blockchain powered companies are going to get a lot of capital. So prediction market platforms Polymarket and Kalshi are considering raising additional capital at valuations of $9 billion and $5 billion, respectively, according to the information which cited anonymous sources. Here's a quote: Polymarket has considered an offer that would value the company as much as $9 billion, according to people who have spoken to the company's leaders. That would be a huge jump in price for the startup, which raised money at a $1 billion valuation earlier this summer. At least one investor offered a term sheet valuing Polymarket as high as $10 billion, Business Insider reported. Polymarket, which allows users to wager on events including elections and sports like NFL football, is expected to relaunch in the United States. Polymarket has been given the green light to go live in the USA by the CFTC. CEO Shane Copeland said earlier this month. So incredible stuff, folks. It's amazing. And then you have a lot of companies going public, right? We just had Gemini go public on Friday, and eToro went public, and you had Circle, of course, which was the biggest one, and expect to see more companies going public before this bull market ends. So we are in a bull market, folks. It's exciting times. I know the prices can be a roller coaster ride, but that's the nature of markets. It's cyclical. You have to accept that reality and those facts. That is why I keep harping on don't be emotional, be educated. Let's look at the charts. Let's look at the patterns. Let's look at the data and the metrics and the signals and form our thesis and stick with that versus our gut feeling and our emotions, how we feel on any given day. Oh no, the price went up today, went down. You can't be hyper focused on the hourly, daily, weekly, because that stuff is going to wreck you, right? The whales are going to wreck you. They're very smart. They use bots. They use all kinds of stuff to shake you out. But as the saying goes, time in the market is better than trying to time the market. So, I can attest to that, being in the market since 2016. And then, look, I had to take my bruises, right? I had to learn how to navigate the markets. But then I realized buy the blood on the streets and everybody's fearful, and just hold. You got to be patient and you hold. And guys, if I showed you my portfolio right now, many of you would be like, whoa, like even myself, I get shocked by it because I've never made this amount of money in anywhere else. Not even in working, getting equity payouts at a job or things like that. So crypto has been life-changing for me. And like I said, I'm going to be taking profits this cycle, pay off some debt, spend some, of course, put some away for retirement, and get ready to reinvest in the bloody bear market. So that's my strategy. You don't have to follow me, but if you want to come along with me for the journey, I'm going to be sharing, all these things. So folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. A great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter on Substack. It is 100% free. Check out the link in the description. I do a weekly update, provide a ton of data in there, things that you can learn and keep up with on regards to the market. Also, check out my book on Amazon. It is available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto. So check it out if you want to expand your knowledge. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.